So today, overthinking is what I want to talk about, and this is a subject that is close to my heart. Apparently, it's close to the heart of this fly. It's currently flying around my head. Also, oh, for goodness' sake, what's it doing here right now? Um, I am an overthinker. Like maybe I'm a recovering overthinker. Maybe maybe I'm not. I don't know. Some days it feels like my mind is much quieter these days, and other days it feels so noisy in there. And I think like I often like attribute myself with this. I'm a problem solver, so that's what it's all about. My mind just likes solving problems, and I like to convince myself that that's some kind of quality. But most of the time, I'm solving a problem that doesn't even exist. My mind can make up, and particularly, I don't know if you can relate to this. The early hours of the morning seem to be the time when my mind wakes up and goes, "Oh, we have nothing to think about, and there's nothing to do. So let's make up a problem to solve." Sometimes those things are things in the future. I think overthinking can really be about the future. And I think the reason why it can really take hold when we're thinking about the future is that there's nothing there. Like there's nothing really happening right now in this moment. It's our mind trying to solve something that doesn't need solving. And so the overthinking is almost coming from this place of, well, that I've made up a problem, and so I can make that problem as complicated as I like. I can make it as scary as I like. I can make me in the future be as pathetic as I possibly can, who can't really cope with what's going to come up. So I need all these like fail safes and plans in place in order to protect myself from this thing that I've made up in the future. And as I'm saying that, I know I'm talking about myself. Ironically, I really am, because it's massive. I think it's really, really massive that we see ourselves not in a critical, judgmental way, but we start to see ourselves doing this, see ourselves taking ourselves on this merry dance into non-reality, into things that are not really there. So I think that's one thing about overthinking. So the first thing is the overthinking that we do because we've made up some future scenario that isn't real. And the cool thing about that is that our body loves to let us know that that's what we're doing. It feels bad, doesn't it? I think overthinking and overwhelm are pretty much two sides of the same coin. If I'm thinking off into the future, if I'm absorbed in, often for me it's my list, what's on the list today, what things have I got to do? I've got a busy couple of days at the moment, and I can really feel that sort of ramping up happening. And then I start to feel overwhelmed. And for me, that's got a very physical felt sense to it, a heaviness in the chest, a sort of, I can hardly move because it feels like somebody sat on me. A tightness, breathing very shallow. It doesn't feel good in the body. But that's a beautiful gift, really, to let us know that our state of mind is that we're overthinking. If we're feeling overwhelmed, we're definitely overthinking. No two ways. The things are really, really closely connected. So that kind of future thinking, that comes in, I think. And the other thing that really I'm seeing a lot about at the moment, and I was listening to Christine Heath and Judy Sedgman's podcast, Psychology Has It Backwards, which I really recommend looking up. And they were talking the other day. I mean, I'm way behind. I'm listening to episodes from 2024, I think, at the moment. And they were talking about dreams and how, people can get into kind of dream analysis and things like that. And that is it's like another element of this thinking about your thinking, which I think we've been really encouraged to do. We've really been encouraged to think about our thinking, almost not realizing that it's our thinking that we're thinking about. So we give these things about us, these thoughts about us, we give them names, don't we? Give them labels. We call them conditions, itises or isms or whatever. We give them labels. We give these things that are things about us labels. But they're all these labels that we have. They're types of thinking. They're ways of thinking. They're thoughts that are passing through. And then we say, well, I best try and solve my thinking with some more thinking. And it's seeing that that's all the same thing. It's like trying to do your own brain surgery. You're trying to solve a problem with the same thinking that created it, especially if our state of mind is already not okay. So let's say we're seeing something about ourselves that we don't like, or a feeling we don't like, or a behavior we don't like, and then we start thinking about that. Now we're already, if we're feeling that in our body, we're already in a poor state of mind. We've already gone south, as it were. I can't remember which teacher that says that. It's Rahini Ross's husband, Angus Ross, who says, we've gone south. Our thinking's gone south. It's gone off. And then we go, right, well, now let me try and solve this problem I'm perceiving. This problem, for me, for years, the problem was called Clare. And she was the problem to be solved. And then there was more thinking about what I was thinking about. And it's exhausting, isn't it? And it's actually great that it's exhausting, because I think that if when we start to see how exhausting it is to be continually thinking about us and how we're doing and whether we're doing okay, we're more, when we see that that's what we're doing, we're just more inclined to just put it down. We feel the burning. It's burning us like a hot rock in our hands, and we're clasping onto it tight, and then we suddenly go, oh no, it's burning, I don't want to do that anymore. And for me, that's what it's felt like, sort of moving a little bit away from the overthinking, has been, well, it just doesn't feel good in the body. And I notice my energy. So when I get into, for me, one of the other things, we've talked about the future, we've talked about thinking about ourselves, thinking about other people. That's Claire's that's one of my things to do, is somebody's behaviour is this, I'm whying their behaviour. Why are they doing, well, maybe it's this, maybe it's to do with something that happened in their childhood, and maybe I need to analyse them. And I don't know any of these things, I'm making them all up. and that's that's another kind of what a lot of energy that takes, the analysis. I used to do it with drivers. I mean, my story about middle lane hoggers, gotta love a middle lane hogger. Why are you in the middle lane when there's nothing in the inside lane at all? And I would be like, well, when I was younger, a load of my friends, when they learned to drive, their dads told them to stay in the middle lane because it's safer. You don't have to keep changing lanes, so you just stay there, don't change. Because obviously, on a motorway, on a main road, the changing of the lane is probably the least safe thing you can do, isn't it? It's like, that's when accidents might happen. And so I think loads of my friends' parents told, it was probably only one, told them to stay in the middle lane when they went on the motorway. So now that's my story. When I see somebody in the middle lane, oh my Lord, what a waste of energy. I mean, that's another form of overthinking, isn't it? It's thinking about thinking about thinking. It's going round and round and round. How wonderful it is that feels awful in the body. Then we just want to put it down soon. And I started to notice as well, my energy would go really off. So I'd really want to get on with something in my business or my life, and I'd be like all souped up about that and excited about it. And then I would go into, spiral town with, never called it that, spiral town. I go into spiraling about thinking about something, round and round and round in circles. And, I still do that. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I don't. And just feel really then. And I'd not want to do things, and I'd just be sort of, oh God, I'm just warm myself out with thinking. It's like any train of thought. Overthinking is just like it's another train of thought, isn't it? And as we start to see the nature of that, we see that it's causing us a lot of suffering. Maybe we just start wanting to put that down and take a breath and give ourselves time to settle. And what's amazing then is that, you know, all the things that look like problems suddenly don't look like problems anymore. You don't look like a problem. The thing in the future doesn't look like a problem. The other person doesn't look like a problem. It all just falls away. And there's some peace of mind there as well, definitely. So I think that's it. I think that's it for overthinking today. I'll keep on exploring this. There's bound to be more to come about overthinking. But I hope that's been helpful, and I hope that helps you to overthink a little less. Take care. Lots of love. Thank you.